Welcome back to episode 49 of the Xbox North podcast. This week we talk Gotham Knights, going next-gen only, Microsoft releasing an Xbox streaming stick, and shedding light on the DRM issue that happened over the weekend. But with that out of the way, please like, share, and subscribe if you can. But Dan, how are you doing? How is the lands between treating you?
Well, it's been pretty darn good. I managed to stumble into a fight with Godfrey, like not even realizing it, and then actually beating him my first try.
Nice. That's always
so satisfying.
That always feels good.
I was a little scared because I had used up a lot of my stuff just getting there, and like wandering around this big tree branch and everything. Like I managed to find just this one big like root growing up. And I was just like, okay, I'll check this out. Maybe it heads to like a secret room or something. And I step inside the room and it just like walls everything off behind me. And then Godfrey just shows up and it's just like, Godfrey, first Elden Lord. I was like, okay, then I guess I'm doing
like we're fighting and you win. And you're just like, yes.
Yeah.
The first Elden Lord's a bitch.
Yeah. I summoned my Mimic and he just took so much punishment for me. He died like just before I managed to kill Godfrey.
Interesting things I found out with the Mimic. So, you know how we were chatting about using items? Yeah. So he will use items you have on you, like crazy. Like I saw him throwing my fire grenades and it's like he has unlimited amount of them.
Yeah, I didn't even know I could block with my staff until he just did the animation. He was just like out of nowhere, he just like starts spinning the wand around and he's just got this big blue shield in front of him. I'm like, what the fuck was that? How do you do that?
Yeah.
So, like I had to test it out, so I had to two-hand my staff and then he just like blocks with it and he just like annihilated a guy with it too because he just walked up to him and the dude could do nothing because he was just spinning the staff inside the guy's chest.
Nice. Yeah, Mimic sacrifices a lot of life, but it's worth it.
It's so worth it.
Oh, yeah. God, that boss I just beat in the game just like literally 10 minutes ago. What? He was crazy, like that space scorpion thing with like the human face, but he has like the crack in the skull there and there was an eyeball like looking around. And there was this one, he like slams on you, I roll. He just misses me. I charge up my my scythe and I hit him and man, I took away like almost like a quarter of his life in one shot. I was like, damn.
Nice. Yeah.
that was the sweet spot right there.
Yeah. I summoned I think my Mimic at the time and he's got a scary tail just like made of planets that just is coming down on you.
Yeah, dude, it was amazing.
I just ran for my damn life, and I was just hurling meteors at him the whole time.
I love how this game is just like, you're exploring, then they're just like, look at this crazy boss.
Yeah, like we just made this crazy like area and this insane boss that like doesn't even necessarily, it's just so godlike, and it's so like crazy weird and like awesome. And the game just keeps seeming to get bigger. Like it doesn't feel like the next area that I'm going to is like a small area ever. No. It's always bigger and more filled with stuff.
The city you're in right now, there is like a whole undercity that is like huge.
Yeah. Like I just got into it and like I'm like just starting to work my way through some of the sewers. Not even like I just got through like a decent amount of the top area now that I've killed Godric, because that gave me a couple of levels just in itself. Because he just drops an insane amount of runes and an extra talisman pouch.
I almost feel like we need to start a new podcast called Tarnish Talk or something like, because this game feels like such a journey. Like when you watch those movies like Lord of the Rings or just like high fantasy movies where you're like, oh, you feel like you're watching the hero's journey. In this, it's just like, yeah, it feels exactly like that. It's like no other game I've ever played. Just in scale, because it's so cool because you'll beat a boss and then the game's just like keep on going. Keep
Yeah.
on going. Like
just keep
you're
finding
not
more.
done.
Yeah.
I could even imagine people writing a book of like every boss in the game, like getting every rune. You could have like a book dedicated to that and just like make up a story of in the mind of this Tarnish who doesn't know his past, and you know, look at some of the lore in the game and some of the side quests, like when you meet people and like what your thoughts are. Like I could totally just read like a whole novel in that and like talk about like how the flame kind of like the more you use it, you know, you can hear the madness in your head and stuff, and just like really because I feel like the world is so like lush and rich that you can not like obviously I'm going to write a book and then like it'll be like step by step in every boss. No, it would just be like that, you know, story of the area, you know, your descent into madness, who you are, why you're here, why you're getting pulled to these people to like just murder them. The game is so cool.
It's crazy.
I love it. And finally Ryan's starting to play, so
so we're gonna have to help him level up.
yeah I'm finally like 105 right now, so
I think I'm almost at 120.
Nice. I'll do that right now. I'll be like, I'm 120.
That
rune farm is so good.
Oh yeah. Well, even just like I found just collecting as many of like the single runes, like the golden runes and everything that you can get, and just like getting like stockpiling as many of those as possible, and then just like busting my my golden talon, pickled talon or whatever it is. And just like, you get extra runes. I got my talisman on and everything too that gives me the extra runes. And then I just start popping all of them. And like there's a few certain bosses too, especially going back to like the earlier areas. Like I feel so much more confident and powerful now in the older areas. And just like fighting some of the bosses that I was just like, no, I'll fight this later. And you just melt them. They're like nothing.
Oh yeah. Nothing. It's funny how much more powerful you get in the game, and you feel more powerful.
And it's still weirdly balanced. Like if I have a like one of like the dog creatures or whatever that are poisonous, like come and attack me, like they could still kill me pretty easily.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you get a couple of them on you, like they'll overwhelm you quick. But as long as you can roll out of the way and get a couple of attacks in and everything, then you're all right.
You can definitely get overwhelmed in the game, which is awesome. Yeah, I love the game. It's super, super good. But anything else you're playing?
No, I've not touched a single other thing.
Yeah, me too. The gameplay, I tried this game actually. It was pretty good. But I'm just sucked right back into all I can think of is just Elden Ring. I dream of that game.
What's happening next? What's the next thing that I got to do? Like, what am I
feel like
finding out about?
Once the credits roll, I need to like actually put the game down and be like, no, like I need to look at other things because I'll want a new game plus that thing right away.
Yeah. 100%.
It's so fun. But work's good, family's good.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been having some fun around the house and everything. We went up to take the girls to some Finnish classes in city about an hour away. Just like drop them off. We get like an hour and a half to ourselves, and they get to learn some Finnish because my oldest is part Finnish. So
there you go. Learning.
Yeah, and we get some of that shawarma that we don't have down in our small town.
Plus, you get an hour and a half, man. Every little bit helps.
Free daycare, you can't complain.
Yeah, right. I want to get the kids into. There's a community center down the street from us, and they do like sports and all that. So I was late on signing up for what's going on now, but hopefully I can get them in for a summer thing before the boy starts school and stuff. So, but I had an interesting. I had an interesting interaction on Twitter over the week with Lord Cognito. I was listening to their Defining Duke Xbox podcast, and they were talking about, ketchup on, certain, like, putting ketchup on macaroni and cheese. Like, do you do that?
Yep.
Yeah. You're like, well, but the question is, will you actively do that? Will you go to the refrigerator, pull out that ketchup, and just squirt it right onto your mac and cheese, like every time?
Almost every time, yeah.
Almost every time. So, and he was talking about like how this started with him, and it started with the ketchup on eggs. So I post a picture of tater tots because he's like, you have the home fries and stuff, and you have ketchup on the plate, and it gets a little too close to the egg, and then you end up enjoying it. So I post a funny picture of the tater tots with some ketchup, and the egg is pretty close to it, and I'm just like, we'll see what happens. So lo and behold, very much enjoyed it. But you know what? I didn't think I wouldn't enjoy it. Do you like ketchup on a grilled cheese?
Yeah.
Like, do you like dipping a grilled cheese in a little bit of ketchup?
Oh yeah.
See,
we'll go there.
See, I will say to Lord Cognito, you need to try the grilled cheese with ketchup. I'm telling you that is where it's at. So
that's key.
The scrambled egg with a little bit of ketchup was fantastic. I even went up to my son and put a little bit on his egg, and he just destroyed that egg afterwards. So he likes it now. So we have converted a person, but all in all, my review is I will do it again. I will pick up that egg and dip it into my ketchup pile for my tots. So.
Yeah, my youngest loves it. She loves calling it dip-ins.
Dip-ins?
Want some dip-ins? Yeah.
How can a kid be wrong with that? They're just so pure. They'll just tell you straight up.
No filter, so know it's true.
Right? So it's true. So that is my review for
delicious.
Ketchup on eggs.
Up in Canada here, you got to put it on chips too. I mean, those ketchup.
Yeah,
chips
we got it on chips, right? Our ketchup
and
chips.
everything.
We love ketchup up here.
Well, we'll draw a line at ketchup on steak, but
you know what?
I know some people who still like that.
No, I'm not going to do the ketchup on steak. That is.
I'm not going to do it myself.
That is too far.
Some people that do like it.
Oh my god! Like, and then the chef comes out. Get out of my restaurant.
Yeah, just leave.
But I have not tried the ketchup and mac and cheese, so I'm stepping into new waters here. I will say the grilled cheese and ketchup is my go-to. So now I'm kind of branching. That's where my branch off kind of.
Yeah, I think it's just ketchup and cheese goes good together. Not like on its own, which is weird. But I guess it's kind of like pizza, I mean, but a little more vinegar because ketchup's just basically tomatoes
on
and
a
vinegar.
Burger with a little bit of cheese,
Yeah.
Ketchup.
Yeah, they just rock together in some of those dishes,
There you go. Controversial topic right there. Controversial. Apparently it was. Like, people are just debating about it like crazy. Just like people debate like pineapple on pizza. Just like, you fucking crazy. Pineapple on pizza is delicious. Like,
it's so good. I can't complain.
It was made by a Canadian. It's funny because it's called Hawaiian pizza, but it was actually made by a Canadian.
Yep.
It's absolutely delicious. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of salty.
Man, I like spicy Hawaiian too. So you get the pineapple, the ham on there, and throw some hot peppers on too.
Yeah, jalapenos.
That's that. Yeah, jalapenos, hot peppers, whatever you want to put on there. So good.
It's amazing. See, but the thing when people say, "Oh, you can't put this topping on pizza," I'm like, look what pizza has turned into. Like, you can put pretty much anything you want. If you can put like a little anchovy, that little fish, then you can put fucking pineapple on pizza.
Oh, exactly. I was so surprised that like anchovies on pizza is actually pretty decent. I was at like a co-op experience.
It's a little salty.
Yeah, it was it's just really salty. So it's just like, little salty fish on your pizza, and like it's surprisingly delicious. I just had like a guy like ordered it for lunch one day. He's like, "You ever had like anchovies on pizza?" I was like, "No, that sounds gross." He's like, "Try one, just one." It's like, all right, I'll try it. Like, I won't say no to free pizza, so I'll give it a try.
Exactly, right?
And
How
it was
about
good.
black olives?
I like black olives too, yeah.
I like black olives. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. When I was in Windsor,
I will try like anything weird.
pretty much.
At least once. I'll try.
You know what? It's funny when my wife was saying when you have kids and you become more of an adult, you tend to try and find that one thing you kind of want to get good at. And I really want to get good at making just Detroit style, specifically Detroit style pizza in the square pan. Like I want to get really good at it. I love Detroit style pizza. I was in Windsor a couple weeks ago, and Windsor is known as Pizza City in Canada. They have a special. So Heinz Ketchup was out there, and they decided to leave. They had like a factory and stuff, and now it's all run by local people. So we get this like amazing tomato sauce out of there, and they also have their own special cheese that comes from just like a certain family that owns this like special cheese that they. So Windsor is kind of known for being like the capital, the pizza capital of Canada, at least. Yeah. At least that's what they say. And man, that Detroit style pizza at this one place I went to, oh, so good. So I really want to go back to Windsor and just like hit up a ton of pizza places. So and
do a pizza tour
and learn how to. I want to get those like pepperonis that when you cook it they like curl up into a little cup, you know?
Oh heck yeah!
The little crispy edges. So good.
And you gotta get like a nice like pizza onesie and like just go do that pizza tour.
Oh yeah, right. There's a place in Toronto called Ambassadors, and they use like the cheese from that one place.
Yeah.
The Barstool guy went around Toronto and did a bunch of pizza reviews. So
nice.
And he went to this one Detroit style pizza place, and it just made me think of that. And I'm just like, you know what? I want to get really good at doing that. It's funny because I have this air fryer. I want to do it in the air fryer. I want to try it at least. Yeah, right? It gets so hot in there, so it'd probably do it pretty good. But I can talk about food and all that. But I actually really want to get into talking about Warner Brothers specifically. So Warner Brothers game finally re-revealed Gotham Knights, and with that announcement came the cancellation of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version, making this a true next-gen release. We got ourselves about 15-minute breakdown, and I thought it looked really cool. Dan, did you take some time to take a look at it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing on Red Hood and Nightwing and everything, and it looks awesome. I'm so excited for like a Arkham Knight style like co-op game.
Yeah. Right? I'm gonna, I call Red Hood.
Oh yeah,
that's who I don't know.
Nightwing, yeah.
I always love. I have always loved Red Hood as a character since he's been introduced. So I'm all over him. I hope they do a good job with him, though.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the overall like gameplay and look of the city? It seems like it's going to be a true open world game like the Arkham Knight games, but bringing in that co-op aspect. But we have been playing a game called Elden Ring lately, and that is an open world game as well. Yep. For what you've seen on this, does this open world seem as probably not as interesting as Elden Ring will be, but what did you think of the overall look of Gotham and the traversing of the city itself?
I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm not sure I'm a fan of the way they're making like the traversing the city and everything, because it's like Red Hood goes and like jumps on like soul magic that he's got or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That's weird.
Like that's cool and all, and like it's gonna look pretty awesome. And like Nightwing has like a little jet glider thing that just kind of shows up out of nowhere, and they're cool and all. But I mean, like, I don't know. It always seemed to me like that's part of what I loved about like the Arkham Knight games and everything, and like all the Arkham games was just jumping around as Batman and like like hooking onto stuff and gliding all the way through. It was like, it's kind of like the Spider-Man experience, right? Like you have the webs you're slinging, and for some reason, like there's no real conceptual reason, I feel like, why it's so interesting, like the Spider-Man and the Batman like traversal like effects, but I'm hoping they'll do well with it in this game, because like they've got the motorcycles and everything too, but it just feels so good. Like flying around as Batman, like you're gliding, you're using your grappling hook. Spider-Man does kind of the same thing. Like he's got his webs that he's slinging himself around with, and
and did you ever play Zelda Breath of the Wild?
I played a little bit of it,
Yeah, so they essentially copied that same mechanic where he has the like kite thing that he can hang glider thing that he can swing around in. So it feels like every game kind of needs that mechanic. It feels like these days. It'd be cool if it was an Elden Ring. That'd make jumping off a cliff. Yeah,
a lot safer.
Yeah, a lot quicker too. But I'm very excited to actually see that they decided to take the bold move of actually leaving last gen behind, because clearly this game was announced as a PS4 game and Xbox One game, and re-revealing it and canceling those versions of the game. A lot of people can't get their hands on a PlayStation 5. PlayStation just put out their numbers recently, and they sold 3 million less than what they initially thought. And Xbox has just been blazing it with their sales, and especially the accessibility of their console. Like you can go out buy an S or an X. Actually,
you can go find them on the shelves. Yeah,
exactly, right. So when more games like this come out and people go into store and they can't play it because they can't even get a PlayStation 5, man, it's going to make that Xbox more appealing. But rumors have it that this game could be coming to Game Pass, actually. And I think this would be a great get for Game Pass, as it is that co-op action. That's the beauty of Game Pass, is it's that shared library. I can shoot you a message and be like, oh, let's play Gotham Knights tonight, and we both are playing it, but we didn't have to pony up $90 each.
Yeah, there's even been a couple of times now where it's like, okay, we want to play, but like you may have it downloaded and you tried it out and found out it was awesome, and I don't have it downloaded just yet, so we can just cloud game, right on the console and everything too. So like we did that with the Remnant Fall of Ashes.
There you go.
Yeah, when we first started with that. So it'll just be awesome.
Leaving the service soon.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to buy it in the
future. Which is disappointing, We'll have to finish it when we get through Elden Ring, because I'm not sure I want to put that on pause just yet.
I'm not putting Elden Ring on pause. That game definitely took us by storm, that's for sure.
And but I'm really excited. That sold like 13.5 million copies already.
Yeah, and that was only from the first month, they said. It sold 13 million copies. So now we're like 3 months in pretty much of that game?
Yeah.
So that game I would not be shocked if it's up to 16 to even close to 20 million copies sold.
Yeah.
Because
easily.
Like even us, we got it like more than a month after it released, and just like people play it and the word of mouth is just like, and then like Ryan bought it, and then Ryan will tell someone else, and then they will buy it, and that game is the true. it is, Like I said, we can start our own podcast about that game, literally.
Oh heck yeah! I got my kids coming up and like trying to just see me like walking around the world and everything when I'm not fighting like anything too bad. They're just like look at this like area and everything. Like, you go underground and it looks like space and just all sorts of crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. And one thing, the advantage of this game going straight next gen is they were just pretty much real with them. It's an open world co-op game, and we wanted it to run at its best, and it runs at its best on these next gen consoles. So knowing that, and still knowing that the game is not coming out until the end of this year, so we have a little bit more time. It looks like it still needs a little bit more polish, but knowing that they have that framework to work around instead of falling back on the old consoles, they can add more effects. Like the city looked great. I found the fog over the city, Gotham, looked really cool. And I noticed there was a fight near the end with Red Hood, and it kind of got Elden Ring-ish, right? Like he was fighting this one big guy, and I was like, this is, you know,
he's fighting a tough boss and everything, like pumping in all those shots, and fighting the Talon from the Court of Owls.
So I was like, man. So I hope, because this game has been in development for a long, long time, and I hope games like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, kind of makes these developers not what am I trying to say here? Basically, like, respect the player and know that if they want to explore, like, know that your player will want to get everything out of the game and put that in there as well. Like the fact that in Elden Ring you can go around every corner, it respects you looking for everything because there is something in every dark corner.
Yeah.
I hope
gives you that
more games
proper feeling of exploration and everything.
Exactly.
And it looks like they did the co-op right in this too. Like from what I can tell from what they showed us, it's like you can get quite a distance away and you just see the especially. But you can see like the bat logo like kind of moving in the distance, so you can still tell where your buddy is, but he's a good distance away from you and everything. And like going off and like you can go around different sides of the building or whatever and take different entrances and work your way in, and like it'll be cool.
And I hope they do stuff like that where, considering you can pick 4 different characters, and I hope they're pretty unique between them. I hope they also give you different, like every character, maybe not every single scenario you do, but give me some scenarios where, Jason can only go through there. Nightwing can't go through that way. And if you're playing co-op, you go through into that your own unique entrance, and I go through my unique entrance. Or interesting things like that would be really cool.
Yeah, it really customizes it for the each character and everything. Yeah, it's gonna be good. And I'm excited that they dropped off the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I think companies are starting to realize that as much as it sucks for those users that can't get the newer consoles and everything, or haven't gotten them just yet or anything, like there's just a lot of limitations to trying to make your game for old hardware. And you spend more time working on making it work for that than you do making the gameplay really good. And I don't know how From Software pulled it off, but they did a great job.
Yeah. So this might be, if it doesn't come to Game Pass, this might be a buy for sure. But we'll also be playing Starfield at the time, so it's going to be a hectic.
It's going to have to come out on Game Pass.
Yeah, no, I think Microsoft, considering we lost a couple games this fall, like Stalker 2. Like Stalker 2 was a huge loss this year. They have their reasons, like the war and stuff like that, so legitimate reasons. But I feel like that would fill that Stalker void in December or whenever it does release. I didn't pull up the release date for it. I think they announced that as well. But it does come out at the end of this year as well.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
So Gotham Knights, fingers crossed. It will be coming to Game Pass, but overall, I think it will be a buy for sure. Absolutely. But there might be other ways you could play that game possibly in the future, because it sounds like Microsoft is going to be releasing some new hardware in the next 12 months with a streaming sticks, or like streaming puck or whatever. And also a native smart TV app for Samsung TVs, at least, broadening that partnership with Samsung as well. And they also talked about their ambitions of bringing your entire library to the cloud as well. So hopefully we could be playing Elden Ring in the future through the cloud.
And just like you were
So
talking about, it makes the most sense to do something like that.
it does. So I would imagine we're going to get this announcement of the streaming stick in June.
Yep.
But would you buy one of these? Like, if they did release this streaming stick, is this something you would buy for around the house, maybe even for your parents and stuff, for the kids to play over there? And what do you think a good price point for this would be to entice you to buy it?
I think like it really depends on how they're doing it. I think it's got to be something powerful enough to like stream properly. So it's got to have at least
Wi-Fi
somewhat
6.
decent hardware. Yeah, exactly. And like good Wi-Fi and everything like that. I would pick one up just to have, just to like, because I've got a console for every TV in my house right now. We need to get a new power supply for one. But like I would expect this to be probably around like $120 or something potentially. Like
It will come with a controller. So
yeah, so if it's coming with a controller, then yeah, definitely like $120-$130, I'd say.
Yeah.
And like, but just having that and like being able to take it with me, if like I go on a work trip or whatever, I can throw that in my bag and a controller and just like plug it into the TV at the hotel or whatever. And I would love to see like an Ethernet option on it as well, just because like it should have one.
It should.
Just because,
absolutely.
like if you can't, not everywhere has great Wi-Fi, but anywhere that's got internet has a plug somewhere. So
yeah, if they have like Wi-Fi 6 built into it and like the pretty much the best Ethernet port you can put, if those are the two things they should put the most money into, it's those two components in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the streaming stick could be great, especially if you have Wi-Fi 6 in the house. Like works so good. I'm playing like even just remote streaming through the house works fantastic. And I'm curious if it would have that functionality as well, remote streaming from like a console in your office to the other TV. So it could be like a combination of xCloud and remote streaming. And I think it's obvious at that point that rumor of the family pass, essentially, so the rest of the family can.
Rest of the family can get.
I think that's going to be a natural
subscription.
A natural announcement when that gets announced, because there's no point of having something like that if everyone would need their own subscription. It's asking way too much of somebody. And if you want to make your service as appealing as Netflix or anything like that, they're going to have to announce the family pass. And if they even have it ready, man, just announce the damn family pass. Like, next week there's this game coming out that my wife really wants to play. This like Little Witch in the Woods. It kind of looks like Stardew Valley, but you're playing a witch. And I'm like thinking she can't cloud stream. And I'm like, that's really too bad. Like, because if that family pass was announced, then she'd be able to play on the console. Well, she'd be able to play on the console either way, no problem, through her account. But then she'd be able to play on her iPhone, like her little Switch, or play it on her computer downstairs, all through like the cloud. And she can't do that.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised they haven't come out with it yet, because I love their family setup and everything. Like, there's Microsoft Family that you can go through, and you can share the reward points or whatever. You can like set limits for your kids and everything. There's even like a family safety app that all goes with it, and like it'll track your driving and help you drive better and everything like that too. And like, I've honestly been surprised that they haven't made that connection yet already, and just been like, because I'm the only one in my house that can cloud stream. It's like, why wouldn't you open that up for the rest of the family? Especially because like I've got 3 Xboxes in my house, and like one of them, even if I do like get the power supply for it and everything, it's basically just going to be a media streaming box, because otherwise I have to pay for another subscription. So I can have one as my home Xbox, I can have one that my profile is always running on, and that works fine. But until they get the family thing, then like the third Xbox is almost kind of just redundant. It's just an extra.
Exactly. So the family pass will solve a huge issue, and I think they should be aggressive with this streaming sticks, especially to their existing customers. I feel like, hey, existing Xbox Unlimited customers, if you purchase it like through the dashboard through their store, you get a 20% discount off the stick or something like that. Be aggressive.
Yeah,
I feel like with that, and do like 6 months of like if you buy it in store, or put like 6 months of Game Pass with it, and the family bundle or whatever. And I think $100, mind you, American. If it's $9.99 American, mind you, I think you'll hit that price point Canadian that you said, the 120, 130. But if they can come out on the stage and say $199 with a controller, or not 190, sorry, $9.99 with a controller, then man, that would be
$99.99.
Am I fucking that up? Yeah, sorry, 99.
$10 would be awesome.
Yeah,
but $100. Yeah,
I said
basically
100. I said 199, and then I said 999, and I'm like, yeah, you want to get right to the point. So yeah, if it was $100, let's just round it. But they want that.
$100 US would be good. I would even honestly, I would love to see a like $150, like $170 like premium version with like a 10 gig Ethernet port on it. Like you give me that, and like I would be happy as a clam, because that would like future proof it for like the next 10 years for me. I could easily sell that and like to my wife and let me buy one.
Justify it. Yeah. I could easily justify that thing. Because you could easily justify it, because you're like, look, this thing will eventually, like I will potentially be using this longer than the box there, because whatever upgrades in their server this thing will be able to access.
Over to that. Exactly. And it gives you that nice portable like option. Like hell, I could plug that into like just a screen that I have in the car or whatever. Like if you got like an HDMI input in the car or something along those lines, you could just plug it in and go to town. Like play wherever you want. Like take it to a hotel room, plug it into the TV. Like
if the internet's good enough, right?
Bring it over to a buddy's house. And like
going camping, put your phone on if you're getting a 5G signal, put your phone on hotspot mode. Boom, there you go. Right?
Yep. And I mean like
and you can even do a direct connection, I'm pretty sure. With your phone, and use it instead of like doing a wireless hotspot, you can do a direct connection.
That's a good mention too, is like just even having like a USB connection on it too, so that you can hook up your phone super easily through the charge cable and using a wired connection. That'd be great.
I think there's a lot of potential in this little box. I would love to see them just straight up make an Android-based handheld. Like put like the Snapdragon Gen 1 Plus inside it, or whatever their next version of that into that, because a handheld Android-based machine like that, they make, considering they're buying Activision Blizzard, they have Call of Duty Mobile now. They have Diablo Immortals coming. Now they have a World of Warcraft game. And access to Game Pass and cloud streaming on that. Dude, make a handheld.
Man, honestly,
please. It would be so cool.
Bring back a Windows Phone. Just like release a new Windows Phone. This would be the time to actually do that. This would be the time to like actually like succeed in doing that. Really, it's like Windows always has like
11 feels like a Windows Phone.
Oh yeah, well it's like a tablet and everything. Like it's more of a tablet OS. Like people are more used to that style and everything now, because tablets are so common and everything as well. And if you just set it to like prioritize game mode, so it shuts down all the background apps and everything. Like concentrates just on preserving your internet for, like, your mobile internet for streaming and everything, like, I would buy that phone in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why wouldn't I? Like, all the other gaming phones and everything, like, they're gaming phones, but they're really just, like, phones with, like, trigger buttons on them.
But I don't know. I want a dedicated handheld with a really, like, nice OLED screen and good.
Yep.
And yeah, give me a dedicated handheld.
That's what I'm talking about. Even like a full like instead of just handheld, like make it a phone.
But it also brings in another conversation, and this will kind of conclude our last topic, is the whole DRM issue. Because over the weekend, we had a huge outage of Xbox Live, and it really shed light on the whole DRM issue that was going on. So what happened is they had a huge launch over the weekend of Fortnite coming to Xbox cloud gaming, and that seemed to affect the overall Xbox network as well. And a lot of people who were trying to access their purchased library, even though they had their console set to offline mode,
I had that
they were not able to play that. And this is a huge problem. And they said it was something the developers can enable. Like, I wasn't having any issues with Elden Ring, at all. It just said play it offline. I was like, oh, thank God. But I tried to play Bug Snacks, actually. I wanted to take some gameplay for that, and it wouldn't even let me access it. It was saying, like, I didn't own the game or anything like that. So there was games that were attached to Game Pass that were just not working at all. But all in all, like, I'm only really playing Elden Ring, so it really didn't affect me. But it sheds light on a deeper issue of this whole digital future and the fact that people like Phil Spencer keep on talking about preserving gaming and stuff like that. But as soon as you don't have access to the internet, your console is essentially like a brick at that point that can't play anything.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this whole DRM issues, especially for game preservation?
I think it's been a big issue for a long time, and I think they really need to figure out a way to make it better. I honestly, it's really difficult to really put words to, because there isn't like a better solution that really comes to mind, because the game owners and everything, they need to protect their games. They need to find ways to like limit cheating and everything like that. They do all of this stuff. Yeah, exactly. The piracy and everything. And I mean, there is something to be said for how piracy affects the game. Like, I know, like, the creator of Minecraft always said he was never that worried about the like people pirating his game, because they're just going to want to play it, and they're going to want all the updates and everything for it.
Yeah.
So eventually they're just going to buy it. And he was right. They did. They just went ahead and bought it. And it worked for Minecraft, but it doesn't necessarily work for every game that way.
Yeah, because not every game is getting like constantly updated. So you can say that's a good thing. A game like Elden Ring or Minecraft, something that's going to be growing for a while, or No Man's Sky, they constantly get new updates, and those piracy has to kind of, the crack of the game kind of has to work around those. But man, the fact that like a single player game you're playing, the creator of the game didn't have the foresight to implement an offline mode for the game, like clearly Elden Ring did. So I don't know why that is not a default. But it really just makes you feel like you just don't own these things. But I feel like I've kind of accepted that for a while now.
I saw a lot of people sharing like just like their collection of games they've got on disc and everything, and like, oh, this is exactly why I do this. Sort of thing. It was funny because I actually did get affected by it as well, and now that I think about it, because Elden Ring's been distracting me so much, I actually did finish Cyberpunk 2077 when the outage was happening, because I couldn't get on any of my games, or Elden Ring even.
Really? Well, you couldn't even get on Elden Ring.
I didn't notice if there was just like an offline mode option, really. Like it just kind of came up with the error, and it was like, oh, the owner of the game has to be signed in, and it wouldn't let me do anything there. So I just shut off my console, turned on my PC, and I finished up Cyberpunk on there.
Well, what we can say is lucky it was fixed quickly, but maybe they can get more of a permanent fix for something like this, and hopefully this kind of just puts a fire under their butt to work on DRM and work with developers on a better solution going forward. Because, power outages happen, internet outages happen, and what do we want to do? We just want to sit down and play our game. So, and having that taken away from us when, let's say the internet goes out and you're like, okay, well, at least I can sink like a couple hours into Elden Ring before it comes back on, and that's a good enough distraction. And a lot of people who get that removed from them, it's tough. And especially when you have paid actual money and your system is saying you can't do it just because
access your content. Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
Something they definitely need to work on, and hopefully they can come up with a solution that just it's not going to be affecting your other games in your library. Like there's some sort of record that shows that you own that game, and just let this IP address have it. Just let them go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope, like I was saying, I can't believe it's not a default thing. Hopefully it will become a default thing going in the future, because my internet was working fine. It was just their service that was bugging out, and that is unacceptable in my opinion, because if you guys are having issues, I have the game on my console. I should be golden at that point. So all in all, let's fingers crossed that DRM gets fixed. But I think we made it to the end of episode 49. Next week is our 50th episode. Can't believe that. We are almost at 1 year too. First week of June, it will be our it will be our 1 year anniversary, and we're going to be having a special guest, Tony from the Plume Network, joining us for our big prediction episode for Microsoft's and Bethesda's showcase. So I'm very, very excited to get some predictions down, but I'm more excited to see the show as well and hang out with our good friend as well.
Heck yeah.
But, Dan, take us home.
Alrighty. Yeah, don't forget to smack that subscribe button on our YouTube page and tippity-tap that like button. Comment on my beautiful voice, even though I might be a little nasally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And find us.
That wasn't allergies last week. That was COVID. Ooh.
And find us on audio only on Spotify and Google Podcast. Just search relentlessly for Xbox North Podcast. We're also on Reddit and Instagram. Take a look for Xbox North Podcast. And for Twitter, @NorthXbox, because why would we make it easy for you?
That's right. Also, you can find us on Rumble as well if you do follow us on Rumble. All right, guys. Have a good night.